Okay, can I start?
Yes.
Okay. So, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, one and all present here. Welcome to International Internship University. International Internship University, IIU, is the world's first internship-based virtual university, building a better and brighter future for all young learners, and is committed to provide quality, accessible, affordable, skill-based, and location-independent education to learners across the world. IIU is providing access to more than 1,000 plus courses and internship to their e-learners across the globe. With the team of high caliber and experienced global educators, IIU has been accredited and affiliated with the World Education Organization WEO and International Accreditation Organization IAO, and collaborated with all the world's top universities and educational institutions through the platform of massive open online courses, which is MOOC. IIU provides various certificates and diploma courses. There is always that one person who has the vision, the thought, the idea behind a successful venture and organization. And if we talk about the man behind the success of IIU, is none other than our beloved co-founder of IIU, Mr. Piyush Pandit. He concocted the world's first virtual international internship university during a pandemic, the International Internship University, the IIU. Now, I would like to start my today's talk. So today's lecture is about career counseling, counseling and guidance for career planning and decision making. Let me introduce myself. Professor Dr. Pratik Rajan Mungekar. I'm a scientist, professor, counselor, global educator, published author, and an international speaker. I'm the first Indian to be appointed as the Planetary Minister of Sustainable Development of newly emerging the Kingdom of Atlantis, a decentralized sovereign kingdom. First youngest Indian whose book Introduction to Sustainable Development Goals is now part of Atlantean education program. First youngest Indian to receive 250 plus honorary doctorates from all over the world. First youngest Indian professor who taught to more than 8,000 plus students and career guided 4,000 plus students till date, and the count is still on. First Indian who has 700 plus international, national, state awards at the age of 28 for my contribution in the field of teaching and research. Youngest Indian to receive 125 plus honorary high degrees across the globe. First Indian to be appointed by 35 plus international organizations on various high positions at the same time. Youngest Indian to be appointed as ambassador by 36 organizations of many countries in almost all disciplines. First Indian youngest professor to start teaching at the age of 16, and the age of 27, I have completed 12 years of teaching. First youngest Indian to receive royal and prestigious titles such as Lecturus Magnificus, LM, and His Royal Highness 5-Star Duke. And I'm the first youngest Indian to receive Mendeleev's Fellowship. It's a United Kingdom's highest academic honor. So this is about me. Now, I would like to start with today's topic, which is career counseling. So first, introduction. In this lecture, we will be dealing with counseling and guidance for career planning and decision making. We start with definition and description of counseling and guidance. Then we check up career planning, and within this present the interrelationship between counseling and career planning, followed by presenting of interrelationship between guidance and career planning. Then we take up decision making, and within this we put forward two principles wisely: declaring a decision and working a decision. Within declaring a decision, we will discuss the framing of the decision, the right people and the right choice to make, Following this, we take up working a decision within which we discuss a complete set of alternatives, values against which to make trade-off, and information that describes the value of each alternative. Sorry for the noise, everyone. I stayed, my building is at highway, so it will keep disturbing. Sorry for that. Now, next is counseling and guidance. Counseling is a process that focuses on enhancing the psychological well-being of the client, such that the client is then able to reach their full potential. This is achieved by the counselor facilitating your personal growth, development, and self-understanding, which in turn empowers you to adapt more constructive life practices. The purpose of guidance is to provide learning experiences to enable clients to acquire knowledge, skills, and competencies related to making personal, educational, and career decisions. Guidance includes, but is not limited to, educational guidance and counseling services staffed by trained professionals. Career planning is a lifelong process which includes choosing an occupation, getting a job, growing in our job, possibly changing careers, and eventually retiring. We will focus on career choice and the process one goes through in selecting an occupation. This may happen once in our lifetime, but it is more likely to happen several times as we first define and then redefine ourselves and our goals. Career development and the career planning process include a number of specific steps that help to identify personal skills and attributes. Finding out how those skills can be utilized in the job market is accomplished by researching a number of career fields that are of interest to you, and then by gaining experience in those fields and or speaking to people currently working in the field. Career counselors provide mainly career counseling outside the school setting. Their chief focus is helping individuals with career decisions. Vocational counselors explore and evaluate the client's education training, work history, interest, skills, and personality traits. They may arrange for aptitude and achievement tests to help the client make career decisions. They also work with individuals to develop their job search skills and assist clients in locating and applying for jobs. In addition, career counselors provide support to people experiencing job loss, job stress, or other transition issues. Next, career guidance refers to services and activities intended to assist individuals of any age and at any point throughout their lives to make educational, training, and occupational choices and to manage their careers. Such services may be found in schools, universities, and colleges, in training institutions, in public employment services, in the workplace, in the voluntary or community sector, and in the private sector. The activities may take place on an individual or group basis and may be face-to-face or at a distance. A decision is a choice. What is decision? A decision is a choice between two or more alternatives. If you only have one alternative, you do not have a decision. Decision making can be regarded as the mental processes, cognitive process, basically, in scientific language, resulting in the selection of a course of action amongst several alternative scenarios. Every decision-making process produces a final choice. The output can be an action or an opinion of choice. Now, what is counseling? Counseling is a process that focuses on enhancing the psychological well-being of the client such that the client is then able to reach their full potential. This is achieved by the counselor facilitating your personal growth, development, and self-understanding, which in turn empowers you to adopt more constructive life practices. In simple terms, counseling involves one person, the counselor, helping another person, the client or a student, to work through some difficult or painful emotional, behavioral, or the relationship problem or difficulty. That is the form of individual counseling. Counseling may be helpful in number of ways. It can enable you to develop a clearer understanding of your concerns and help you acquire new skills to better manage personal and educational issues. The counselor can offer a different perspective and help you think of creative solutions to your problems. Sharing your thoughts and feelings with someone not personally involved in your life can be most helpful. First, confidentiality. The counselor treats all the information shared by the client as confidential material. The counselors are involved in case consultations and supervision for the purposes of best practice. These meetings involve discussion of client concern with the aim of formulating the best possible assessment and intervention plan. Where possible, the identifying personal information is removed from the discussion. Counseling takes place in a confidential meeting, in a quiet room, and is subject to a code of ethics, which specifies what the counselor can and cannot morally do in that context. Next, second is restrictions on the release of information. Information that clients share with the counselor will not be released to anyone outside without their prior written permission, except under certain unusual and rare circumstances where the well-being of client matters. Client is free to discuss any concerns regarding confidentiality with the counselor. Third, the counseling process. The counseling process depends upon the individual counselor, the individual client, and the specific issue. However, there is a general counseling process that the counselor will follow. First, background information collection. Second, identification of core issues. Next, case formulation. Fourth one is goal setting for the therapeutic process. Fifth is implementation of intervention. Next is evaluation of intervention. And last one is closure. No further counseling is required at this time if during the initial interview you have been able to clarify your concerns and plan an appropriate course of action. Further appointments are needed to continue to explore the issues before reaching a decision. A second appointment will be made with client by the counselor. Alternative services are appropriate and the counselor will assist the client to identify specific resources to consider and pursue. Fourth is differing counseling approaches. Counselors work from differing theoretical approaches. Different counselors will place varying levels of emphasis on behavior, on thinking, and or on emotional aspects. All counselors have the central goal to assist the client in increasing your sense of well-being. Next is length of counseling. Change does not happen quickly for most of us. The length of treatment depends on a number of variables. Variables include the severity of the problem, the motivation of the client, the type of problem, and the age of the client. The more focused and limited the problem being addressed, the shorter treatment can be. The more the treatment addresses healing emotional injuries, the longer it is likely to take. Next is guidance. What is guidance? The purpose of guidance is to provide learning experiences to enable clients to acquire knowledge, skills, and competencies related to making personal, educational, and career decisions. Guidance includes, but is not limited to, educational guidance and counseling services staffed by trained professionals. It can also include human resource department, which is HRD work, assessment processes and appraisals by managers, advice and guidance from managers, advice and guidance from shop stewards or other trade union representatives, guidance which is a part of educational or training courses, both in service and provided externally, peer guidance and counseling carried out by fellow employees, etc. Mentoring by appointing a more experienced person who can listen, advise, and give feedback when the mentee asks for this. Self-assessment methods, paper or electronic. Next is information resources such as career libraries, and last one is telephone helplines. The activities of guidance that can be carried out or organized by employers include giving information on learning opportunities, giving advice on the choice of learning opportunities, assessing the educational and training needs of individual employees, counseling to examine barriers to learning and ways to overcome these, career education in the sense of suitable courses to help employees progress within the firm, referral to other agencies, including professional guidance services, feedback to learning providers on courses needed and the suitability of those already on offer, and follow to find out what decisions were taken and what progress was made by individual employees. Next is career planning. Career planning is a lifelong process which includes choosing an occupation, getting a job, growing in our job, possibly changing careers, and eventually retiring. We will focus on career choice and the process one goes through in selecting an occupation. This may happen once in our lifetimes, but it is more likely to happen several times as we first define and then redefine ourselves and our goals. Career development and the career planning process include a number of specific steps that help to identify personal skills and attributes. Finding out how those skills can be utilized in the job market is accomplished by researching a number of career fields that are of interest to you, and then by gaining experience in those fields and or speaking to people currently working in the field. The career planning process is comprised of 4 steps. Whether or not you choose to work with professional or work through the process on your own is less important than the amount of thought and energy you put into choosing a career. Career planning means know about yourself, explore your options, make decisions, and move towards your goal. This is very important. I repeat, career planning means know about yourself, explore your options, make decisions, and move towards your goal. So first, self. Evaluate who you are as a person. This involves taking a personal inventory of which you are and identify your individual values, interests, skills, and personal qualities. What makes you tick as a person? You will look at those personal attributes under a microscope and come up with the key qualities you can identify and use in your search for the perfect career. Career assessments may be required to promote a better understanding of personal attributes and skills. The individual should gather information about oneself, that is, self assessment in terms of their interest, value, roles, skills, aptitudes, preferred environments, developmental needs, and their realities. Second is options. The individual should be able to explore the various occupations in which they are interested. The exploration should be in each and every field the individual is interested and keen. After the area of occupation is chosen, the research or a survey on industries and labor markets should be done to see in which they would like to work. Once the individual is clear about the specific information on the area to be chosen, he or she can go in for part-time work, internships, and can also go in for volunteering jobs or opportunities. Third is match. After the option is clear to the individual, they will be able to identify the possible occupations and evaluate the opportunities within that occupation. The individual can explore the alternatives available and thus choose both a short-term and long-term option. Next is very important, action. The individuals, in order to reach and achieve their goal, have to explore and investigate the sources for additional training and education. They would have to develop a job search strategy, write an effective resume, gather information regarding company, and prepare themselves for job interviews. Next is interrelation between counseling and career planning. So career planning is a process, as I discussed earlier also, in which an individual decides and chooses an occupation of his or her interests with the help of counselor. Counselor helps the individual to realize, explore, and analyze within themselves their interest and their capability. Career counseling is an interactive process by which counselors and clients exchange and explore information concerning clients, backgrounds, experiences, interests, abilities, self-esteem, and other personal characteristics that help or inhibit their work readiness and career planning. Career counseling is a systematic approach to providing information and advice to clients in such areas as outreach programs, training, internships, apprenticeships, and job placement. Although the career counselor's primary concern is the client's career development, counselors also may provide screening and reference services to employers. Counselors use information gathered through assessment to understand and respond to clients' needs and concerns. Clients use this information to understand themselves better, clarify their goals and perspectives, and make plans for the future. Counselors provides individuals and groups with career and educational counseling. Counselors use interviews, counseling sessions, interest and aptitude assessment tests, and other methods to evaluate and advise their clients. They also operate career information centers and career education programs. Often counselors work with students who have academic and social development problems or other special needs. Career counselors provide mainly career counseling outside the school setting. Their chief focus is helping individuals with career decisions. Vocational counselors explore and evaluate the client's education, training, work history, interest, skills, and personality trait. They may arrange for aptitude and achievement tests to help the client make career decisions. They also work with individuals to develop their job search skills and assist clients in locating and applying for jobs. In addition, career counselors provide support to people experiencing job loss, job stress, or other transition issues. Counselors help the individual to plan their career in a structured manner. The process begins with self-assessment. Steps involved by counselor in the career planning processes are: first is step number one, self-assessment. The first and foremost step in career planning is to know and assess yourself. You need to collect information about yourself while deciding about a particular career option. You must analyze your interest, abilities, aptitudes, desired lifestyle, and personal traits, and then study the relationship between the career opted for and self. Self-assessment involves the close examination of core interest, personality traits, skills, values, and beliefs. These are all important variables in the decision-making process. They reflect your innermost needs and desires, and most importantly, will lead you to favor some occupational fields over others. Once self-assessment is complete, you may exploring a wide range of career options. By obtaining information, you will be able to sort through your initial list of occupations and reduce the options to your most favored ones. To focus on the most appealing career option, you need to access detailed information by engaging in a more rigorous research endeavor. This step involves exploring the options on your list by obtaining occupational information such as education and training required to enter into the field, job tasks, and salary potential. It is at this point that you will be ready to decide on the most promising career option that matches your profile most closely and that affords you the greatest chances of succeeding. Keep in mind that it is also important to identify a few backup choices. You will then set up an action plan that will outline the next most crucial steps for you to take in meeting your educational and or occupational goals. Finally, evaluate the outcomes of your efforts and determine whether you are indeed on the right path. If you think the educational and or occupational path decided upon earlier is not appropriate at this point, you may go back a step or two and decide on an alternative and more personally satisfying course of action. Step 2, goal setting. Set your goals according to your academic qualification, work experience, priorities, and expectations in life. Once your goal is identified, then you determine the feasible ways and objectives how to realize it. Next is step number 3, academic or career options. Narrow your general occupational direction to a particular one by an informative decision-making process. Analyze the various career avenues by keeping in mind your present educational qualification and what more academic career courses you need to acquire for it. Step number 4, plan of action. Recognize those industries and particular companies where you want to get into. Make the plan a detailed one so that you can determine for how many years you are going to work in a company in order to achieve maximum success, and then switch to another. Decide where you would like to see yourself after 5 years and in which position. If you are looking for career in education, then you must research about the various leading companies and industries and abroad to get into the best company. Next is interrelation between guidance and career planning. Choosing the right career can be a very daunting task, especially in a world which offers an narrow of paths, all of which seem to be leading to a golden goal. Careers can actually make or break one's life. So it is important to make the right choice. Career guidance can help you in pursuing the right courses in the right colleges or institutes and can guide you in choosing a suitable career. Career planning is an exercise that is well worth the time invested in it because it sets you going on the path that leads to where you would like to go. This exercise provides you with a lot of clarity regarding your career objectives as well, and it best done before you embark on your job search. Career guidance refers to services and activities intended to assist individuals of any age and at any point throughout their lives to make educational, training, and occupational choices and to manage their careers. Such services may be found in schools, universities like International Internship University, and colleges, in training institutions, in public employment services, in the workplace, in the voluntary or community sector, and in the private sector. The activities may take place on an individual or group basis and may be face to face or at distance. Choosing a career is difficult matter in the best of times. Add to this opinions of friends and parents, and the young person is caught up in a confusing situation. This is a serious problem where making a decision is almost impossible. We are providing here a model that can help young generation to choose a career, gain competencies required for it, make decisions, set goals, and then take an action. This information is helpful not only for fresher, but also throughout one's life. Choosing a career is a multi-step process. It involves gathering information on a number of things, the first being yourself. Often, most people get stuck at the very beginning of the planning process itself. There seem to be too many choices that are throwing themselves at you with all kinds of material gains, fame and wealth, comfort and luxury, glamour and beauty, from acting to singing, writing to banking, software programming to business. Choices confuse you. Choices confuse you. Naturally, feelings of self-doubt might creep in at this stage. Am I good enough for that? You may ask, or how do I become successful at this? After some time of pondering over many career paths, you may end up thinking that maybe you are no good for any of these things after all. Here is where a bit of career planning helps. There are two ways of starting off. One is to find out what you really like doing and do it irrespective of the gains and growth patterns. And the second is to find out what really motivates you, find out which among the careers gives you what you want and build up competencies for it. I repeat, there are two ways of starting off. One is to find out what you really like doing and do it irrespective of the gains and growth patterns. And the second is to find out what really motivates you, find out which among the careers gives you what you want and build up competencies for it. Either way, you will get what you want. In the first method, the journey itself is your reward, though many will discourage you on this path. But don't worry, many have tread this path and quite successfully at that too. And in the second, you are carefully working your way to your reward, which could be clearly spelled out to be a consequences of your work or occupation. Whichever path you choose, it is most important to know your individual strengths and weaknesses. Sit down and assess yourself honestly. Think of all your accomplishments, of all the compliments you got, of all the work that really inspired you, of the times when you work with passion and and jot them all down. You will find that as you note down your victories, your achievements, etc., a pattern will emerge. You can find that you are good at organizing, at making people comfortable, at leading, at solving puzzles, at physical activity, at playing music or games. Each of these represents a career option by itself or throws up some characteristics in you, qualities that could be good assets in your future career options. Now list out things that motivate you, that you aspire for, your dreams, things you would want more than anything else in the world. Find your fit between the person you are and the dream you wish to achieve. As this picture gets clearer, you become more aware, confident, and purposeful. Attributes that serve you well along the way. You have now formed a sharp picture of yourself with specific sellable qualities. Based on your aspiration level and your aptitude, you can also identify the careers that offer the kind of lifestyle or returns that you wish. If you wish to frequently travel and be in a command of a dynamic business, you can zero down your careers in marketing with a goal to set up your own firm or to head a large company. The same may not be possible if you inherently like to paint for long hours. It is best to be honest with yourself at this stage because most people take decisions based on glamorous misconceptions about certain careers and later change them. I repeat, it is best to be honest with yourself because at this stage, most people take decisions based on glamorous misconceptions about certain careers and later change them. For example, if you wish to be an air hostess, check out the sources available to the kind of work that is associated with being an air hostess. Only if you really enjoy doing that kind of work and the rewards that come with it, must you opt for it. Else, look further for what really fits you. Growth, rewards, recognition, and most importantly, job satisfaction and a good quality of life come from one thing: loving your job. Loving your job. Having decided on a particular direction, build competencies. Specific career needs specific education and training. Whichever area you choose to be in, you will fare well if you strive to be the best in it. Leave your individual brand on it. Learn the ropes by acquiring information, by taking up courses, by taking up internships and summer jobs, by learning the economies of the job, by adding special skills that help in handling the job with greater proficiency. All careers, without exception, would certainly require a good writing and verbal communicating ability. So please work on that. A pleasing and well-mannered personality, a professional work ethic, and good interpersonal skills. Work on these important soft skills along with as you plan your career. Next is very important, very important, decision making. A decision is a choice between two or more alternatives. If you only have one alternative, you do not have a decision. That's a definition. Decision making can be regarded as the mental processes, cognitive process, resulting in the selection of a course of action among several alternative scenarios. Every decision making process produces a final choice. The output can be an action or an opinion of choice. Problem solving and decision making are important skills for business and life. Problem solving often involves decision making, and decision making is especially important for management and leadership. There are processes and techniques to improve decision making and the quality of decision. Decision making is more natural to certain personalities. So these people should focus more on improving the quality of their decisions. People that are less natural decision makers are often able to make quality assessments, but then need to be more decisive in acting upon the assessments made. Problem solving and decision making are closely linked, and each requires creativity in identifying and developing options, for which the brainstorming technique is particularly useful. A high quality decision comes with a warrant, a guarantee, not a guarantee of a certain outcome. Remember, this is the real world we are talking about. And there are certain things that just are not knowable until after they happen. But a warranty that the process you used to arrive at a choice was a good one. This level of confidence implies a process, a set of steps and rules that provide an assurance of thoroughness and rigor. This means breaking decisions down into component parts and doing one thing at a time. Very important, doing one thing at a time. With the process of framework, you have the mechanism you need to warrant the quality of your own decisions. Perhaps more importantly, you also have a common language and set of mental models that makes conversations about decisions more efficient and effective. This common understanding of decision processes, criteria, and rules avoids many of the common organizational decision traps, allowing people in your organizations to spend their conversational energies on creating better alternatives and validating assumptions and ultimately warranting their own decisions. The framework we use for breaking down and working decisions of virtually any size and complexity begins with two large ideas. First, declaring a decision, and second, working a decision. Each of those larger elements is then broken down into three subcomponents, which are illustrated in the following diagram. As you can see, the upper part is declare. In that, three subcomponents are there. First, frame the problem. Second, choose the people. Third, the best process. And in the next half, you can see work, analyze information, define the values, create the alternatives. So frame the problem, choose the people, the best process, create the alternatives, define the values, analyze information. So that's a process, declaring a decision and working a decision. Now, declare a decision. First, frame the problem. What are you deciding and why? What shouldn't you be deciding and why? What's not in the box is as important as what is. Without a good definition of the problem or opportunity to be worked, there is no possibility that you will be reliably reach a high quality decision. Frames are mental structures we create to simplify and organize our lives. They help us reduce complexity. That's the good news and the root of another set of problems. The way people frame a problem greatly influences the solution they will ultimately choose. And the frames that people or organizations routinely use for their problems control how they will react to almost everything they encounter. Second is the right people. If you are a single actor or hold all the prerogatives of a dictator, this one is easy. In other cases, you will want to put some thought into declaring who needs to be involved in what steps of this decision. Too few or miss some, and you risk the problems of rework, low adoption rate, and poor buying. Too many, too much inclusion, and you invite the possibility of an unnecessarily painful or drawn out decision process. Third one is the right process. It would depend on the decision situation. Making a high quality decision doesn't have to be time consuming. In some cases, the best process might just be a coin toss or relying on some rules of thumbs. In other cases, the only way to work a decision is to really work it, and that will take time. This element of declaration pulls the frame and people together into a coherent whole that will govern how you will reason this decision through. Next is work a decision. In that, first, a complete set of alternatives. The more options you generate, the greater your chance of finding an excellent one. Collectively exhaustive means that the alternatives you are considering fill the frame. A rational observer would conclude that you have thought of everything that matters. Mutually exclusive means that the alternatives are unique and different from each other. They are not just restatements of the same choice. Second, values against which to make trade-off. Values define your preferences among alternatives. They are your criteria. Values can be expressed by attributes. Attributes are characteristics of the outcomes that we find desirable and desirable or undesirable. They typically occur over time and may have some degree of uncertainty associated with them. Third, information that describes the value of each alternative. Good decision making requires not only knowing the facts, but understanding the limits of your knowledge. The most valuable insights are often found in exploring uncertainties and disconfirming information. A high quality decision process highlights the frame, potential alternatives, and a key assumptions that drive value. This allows leaders to spend their time declaring the right decisions, providing a set of common criteria, and testing the key assumptions of each decision. And now I would like to conclude this counseling lecture with my conclusion. So counseling is a process that focuses on enhancing the psychological well-being of the client such that the client is then able to reach their full potential. This is achieved by the counselor facilitating your personal growth, development, and self-understanding, which in turn empowers you to adopt more constructive life practices. The purpose of guidance is to provide learning experiences to enable client to acquire knowledge, skills, and competencies related to making personal, educational, and career decisions. Career development and the career planning process include a number of specific steps that help to identify personal skills and attributes. Career counselors provide mainly career counseling outside the school setting. Their chief focus is helping individuals with career decisions. In addition, career counselors provide support to people experiencing job loss, job stress, or other career transition issues. Career guidance can help you in pursuing the right courses in the right colleges or institutes and can guide you in choosing a suitable career. Career guidance refers to services and activities intended to assist individuals of any age and at any point throughout their lives to make educational, training, and occupational choices and to manage their careers. A decision a decision is a choice between two or more alternatives. If you only have one alternative, you do not have a decision. Decision making can be regarded as the mental processes, cognitive process, resulting in the selection of a course of action among several alternative scenarios. Every decision making process produces a final choice. The output can be an action or an opinion of choice. Problem solving and decision making are closely linked, and each requires creativity in identifying and developing options for which the brainstorming technique is particularly useful. A high quality decision comes with a warrant, a guarantee, not a guarantee of a certain outcome. Remember, this is the real world we are talking about. And there are certain things that just are not knowable until after they happen, but a warranty that the process you used to arrive at a choice was a good one. The framework we use for breaking down and working decisions of virtually any size and complexity begins with two large ideas: declaring a decision and working a decision. With this, I would like to thank my all listeners, colleagues, educators, all the IIU members, audience for joining this session, and heartfelt gratitude to our IIU founder, Mr. Piyush Pandit, for inviting this kind of lecture series for all the students, educators, professors, all the entire educator fraternity. With this, I stop sharing, and once again, thank you.